work that we will begin to accomplish. If you guys want, I can provide a bit of background of myself and just go into that so you get a feel of who I am, what I do, and what I represent. So as I said, my name is C36. I grew up in Somerset. For those of you watching, you may have seen me packing groceries around Arnold, Somerset as a young kid, you know, going out there, being out in the boat, playing down Naval Field, and just being around. You obviously know my family members, my father, who's always out there as well, Eric Bean, and just getting on in amongst the community. So a bit of what I do. I started, let's take it back a bit. So when I was packing groceries up at Arnold's, a couple of my mates came to me and they were also seeking some jobs to see how they can get employment as a grocery packer as well. And I went out there, I vouched for them. I went over to different grocery markets and spoke and said, hey, can we help them get some type of employment and things like that? That didn't work out. So I went back to my family members and I asked them, hey, can we find something for them to do? So then it came up, hence the birth of Pay a Kid, which is an organization that I run that provides jobs for students ages 13 to 18 to get them out of antisocial behavior, gang activity, and crime. And how we go about doing that is by partnering with organizations and members of the community to get these young individuals skills trained, developed, and active and ready to be contributing citizens in our society for when they leave high school. So we've doing that because it's personal. I take this extremely personal. A lot of young individuals in this current day are lost and they need guidance. They need a beacon of hope. They need somewhere that they can follow, a light at the end of the tunnel, if you would say. So I try to provide that by working alongside with these organizations. Now, I started Pay a Kid in high school while I was a prefect, you know, a peer mediator, and doing things like that. After I left high school, still having Pay a Kid, I then enlisted in the Royal Bermuda Regiment. When I enlisted in the Royal Bermuda Regiment, believe it or not, he's here today as well. My brother, Samuel Bean, he was my platoon commander. So I got it rough. I got it rough. It was a rough introduction. You know, he didn't take it easy on me, not one bit. But I loved it because it helped develop my character and who I am and what I stand for. 3 years into the regiment, I then went off and got my commission at the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst. That was a shock, but it was amazing. 3 months out there, amazing work, came back to being a platoon commander in A Company, B Company, training wing, and I've had a blast since. The regiment has given me opportunity to also hone in on my leadership abilities, speaking, getting things done. That's one of the main things that we do involved in the regiment. We get things done. We're sometimes given an impossible task, and it's not impossible. It's always impossible until it comes across our desk, and then we make it work. So that's what I do. As well as I work as a lot of times honorary aide de camp to Her Excellency the Governor. So I'm always out and about. Some people may have seen me there. But that aside as well, I'm always out in the community helping. I'm partnering with organizations, with individuals with support needs. My brother Christopher Bean is also heavily involved in that space of the mental health space as well. So these are all dear to me. And this is a bit of who I am, what I do, and what I represent. And I'm going to be glad to represent constituency 36, Sandys North.
Question?
Please.
You spoke of in your bio, your interest is young people.
Yes.
How important is it trying to get to our young Black males at present?
How important?
Yeah.
I would use the word, it's crucial. It's, I don't want to get, I'm very passionate on the subject. And the reason why it's personal to me and getting in contact with our young Black men is because, like I mentioned with Pay a Kid, I'll bring it back to that. The reason really why I start pushing that is because they need somewhere to go. They need something to do. They need to be active in our community. I've lost more than 10, I can count more than 10 of my friends from high school due to murder. Murder, cold-blooded murder. And this is aside from bike accidents and things like that that just take place naturally of sickness. This is murder. And when I go, I've been fighting a hard fight since I was 17. I'll take it back because it's crucial. And given when you give them an opportunity, you realize how much they shine. They start showing up to work on time. They want to dress right. They want to start learning the ins and outs of how they should manage their money, how they should manage their finances, how they contribute. Then you start seeing them wanting to partake in different activities like Bounce for Autism and all of these things that's going up there. So I think it's very crucial because then you get a neglected part of that demographic, and they feel like no one else is looking at them, and the only time someone's looking at them, they're pointing the finger to say something negative. That needs to stop. That's a whole bunch of ludicrous, in my opinion, and I take that very, very personal. So it's imperative that we pay close attention to that and start giving them the opportunities that they need to thrive and survive out in our community.
Youth unemployment is at its highest at present, between 18 and 35.
Mm-hmm.
How would you look at tackling or even giving advice on changing that narrative?
So what I realized, because I'm in multiple talks, I meet with a lot of powerful individuals, people within inside the insurance industry and the banking industry and things like that. And I realized the problem comes where you don't have, individuals aren't, it's not that they aren't able, it's that they haven't been able to believe in themselves. So it's changing, it's re-engineering their mindset, for one. So we have to go back and start giving them these opportunities. A lot of them aren't privy to these opportunities. They don't know what's really out there. And then we can simply just state that, oh, well, yeah, just go look online, go look online. A lot of these guys need guidance. I'm in the military. When they come up as young 18-year-olds, we have to realize a lot of them don't have a bank account, don't have any idea of, it's just a lot of things that they've been missed because for such a young age, they've been told to be seen, not heard. And that's a big problem that we need to start changing because these guys have voices, they have voices, and we need to listen. So tackling that, getting them employed, getting them skills developed, because I realized with my organization, it was initially just getting them jobs, getting them out there, getting them employed. But then they start feeding back information to me. Hey, it would be nice for me to open up a bank account. It'd be nice to me. Hey, I don't know about insurance. How do I sort that out? Or hey, I'm dealing with a senior citizen right now. They told me about how old Bermuda was, and they start getting very engaged in the community and wanted to do better. So it's about giving them that opportunity, giving them that platform, and sticking with them. Stop pointing the finger and grab a shoulder, you know?
I'm sorry. Do you think that it has like more to do with like the lack of education?
Mm-hmm.
And how would big enough be help with that?
So I believe, sorry, just quickly, you said, does it?
I was saying basically, would you say that it has more to do with the lack of general education? And how would you as an MP help?
So I believe education is a vast word. Education is in many different forms, but I'm a product of the public school education system myself. I graduated from the Berkeley Institute. I always have to say it like that, you know, but I do feel that there's a lot of areas, a lot of gray areas that need to be looked into and invested in. For example, when we have work release programs, they're not really work release programs. It's just somewhere where the student tends to go off. I've been a product of it, but then and they leave it up to the student to like do the best that they can in it, rather than having solid mentorships and people who truly care to be there and develop the students. We need more development amongst our students, not just getting them through it and then saying, okay, you got 92%, you're good to go. You got 60%, you're good to go. No, we need to, people really need to be invested. You can't invest in the student if you don't believe in them. And if you don't believe in them, you're not going to invest in them. So we have to change our mindset. And as a minister, I feel that I can be a beacon of hope to the younger generation as well and be there. I've attended ceremonies of honor ceremonies and everything like that. And we realize the pride is gone. Students they're going up, getting awards that they've worked hard for. Honorship, honor roll, academic awards, all of these things, and their faces down. They don't believe in themselves. And it's a disconnect there. I believe that if we can show that not too far longer, I was sitting in those same seats that you are in, this is where you can aspire to be. I feel that that also will help boost their morale, boost their self-confidence, and get them out there and get them ready. And just being involved, not just being seen when it comes up to vote. Being involved. They know me, I know them. We can talk. It's not something, I'm an approachable guy. So that's just utilizing that as well to just give them a soundboard that they can voice their opinions on and not feel judged.
So I was curious, so is this the first foray into politics? Can you tell us about how you got involved? Was it specifically with Sir John and what he was trying to do?
So, sorry, what did you say for the first part?
Is this the first foray into politics? Have you been involved in other parties? Or I guess tell us about what prompted you to come forward as an independent candidate.
So it's probably a two-part way to answer this question. But first, I would say everything that I've been doing in my personal life has, I believe, led me to this moment. Yes, this has come up just out of nowhere, but I feel that I've been preparing for this my whole life. Just with what I do out in the community with the Royal Bermuda Regiment and other organizations to help make a better Bermuda. So it's always been in the back of my mind, you know? And then recently conversations started coming up, and I'll give a funny story. I was 16 and somehow I found my way. I ended up, I said, I gotta meet him. I gotta get in contact with him. Sergeant Swan. So, and got the meeting, and I asked him if there's any possible way that he can help mentor me or some shape or fashion, give me advice. I just want to be a sponge and soak up as much as I can. And by the grace of God, that took place. So I've been in conversations with Sergeant and a lot of other individuals who are movers and shakers of the community. And the more I get educated on these topics and areas, I've been inclined to say, let me jump out at this. Because every time I'm at a talk, I'm at a panel discussion, I'm at an event, the question's always coming up. And it even came from jokes. Oh yeah, my teachers just tell me you're gonna be a politician one day, or you're gonna do this one day. Sorry, you have this type of character. So it's always been there in the background of my mind. And then I'll keep it honest as well. When I was younger, and all my siblings will remember this, my father will remember this, we used to have discussions at the dinner table. After school, we would pack away our homework. We used to invite our neighbors over in Birds Island community, and we would have discussions. Sometimes they got heated. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was sometimes really, really heated discussions, but we were talking about politics. We were talking about policies. We were talking, I'm so thankful for my family because they allowed us to have our own opinions. They never stated, no, you're wrong. They stated, oh, okay, I see how you think like that. Maybe we should, and then we pick it up the next day. So I have to honestly say that also my family involvement and me being around great people. I have a great loving mother, Judy Ann Bean. Wouldn't have it any other way. She's very nurturing and she keeps it real with me. That's one thing. She doesn't tolerate no nonsense from me. So just having all of that, all the involvement with the family, the talks, being around great people, movers and shakers, I'm inspired. And everyone is saying that there's a problem going on at all these panel discussions, young people with very innovative ways of tackling things nowadays. And they're saying, well, I'm just talking about it. Yeah, there's a problem. They say, well, Cyree, why don't you? Like, you should go out there. And this is me putting my head, for lack of better words, on the chopping block to go out there, sacrifice, or being vulnerable right now, and engage in the community. I want to make a difference. I need to make a difference.
Would you say that it has lots to do with you having a father, where in the home, where your outlook is completely different, where a lot of young black men especially like that?
I'm glad that you asked that question. So you said, does it make a difference of me having a father in my life? So I'm gonna answer that question, but I want to say this first, because we always point fingers at young individuals and say, oh, why are you this way? Or why are you that way? And da. But we don't really know their story. You can ask somebody at the bottom of this building right now, what's the view of the waterfront? At the very bottom floor, they're gonna have a completely different view than you do right now at the top floor. So it's understanding, and then you also have to, so you ask the person at the bottom, what's their view of the waterfront? They're gonna give you their experience. They're gonna say, I can just see containers, I can just see crates. The view at the top is gonna say, it's beautiful. I see all the ships, I see the sun setting, I see the houses next door on the harbor, it's beautiful sails, music. They have a different perspective because they have a different environment. So with that being said, we need to stop bashing those individuals who come from a different environment and have more understanding. Because a lot of my mates, for example, when we had the conversations at the dinner table, we brought friends who did not have father figures in their lives over. And we're still, no matter what they're doing today, it's still great. And my father became their father figure. And then even when I was doing the pay a kid stuff, at a young age, I was 17, getting phone calls at 3 o'clock in the morning of a mother bawling her eyes out to me, just expressing that she needs this opportunity. Her son looks up to me, Mr. Bean, calling me Mr. Bean, not knowing that I'm 17. You know, I'm young enough to be her son herself, but it creates that. And then you realize when you do that, father figure in my life has been extremely important, extremely crucial. So we need to stop bashing that. Yes, I believe it makes a difference, but you don't have to be blood to be somebody's father in that regard. You need a solid role model in your life who doesn't allow you to sway off, you know, keeps that checks and balances and makes you, you know, get a little cuff on the head to be like, hey, stay straight, all right? Stay on the straight and narrow, get it together. I hope that answers that.
Let me ask you, what's your age?
Pardon?
Your age at present?
I know I look 45, but it's a stressful life I'm living, but no, I'm 26. I just went 26.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. I'm just impressed by your presentation. Let me just.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Presentation.
Thank you.
What have you been in the Somerset area? What is the greatest concern up in Somerset?
Now, there's the greatest concern, like I said, it differs, but depending on what you are. For some seniors, it may be, it varies. But for me personally, the greatest concern is I see other people. I'm always in Somerset now. And when I come up there, it's a funny joke that me and my brothers always say, when you come up to Somerset, everyone's still there, everything's still the same, everything is just, it's like a time capsule. Nothing's changed. It's just there. Like, you know, everything feels the same. But what saddens me and why I push so hard for, and I've knocked on so many doors, I've been in so many meetings, countless meetings with movers and shakers who could do things. And they just give me a pat on the back and say, yeah, man, but you know, I see you. We'll figure it out later on down the. No, it can be figured out later on down the road. I see young individuals who are sweet-faced and now are getting caught up in this antisocial behavior, gang activity, and crime. You got all the recent news. You have young individuals who are from that area getting shot, getting murdered. I think that we need to re-engineer the thinking of the youth in that area and bridge the gap between the young and the old and make it a safe space again for everybody. Can, you know, if your clothes are out on the line and it's about to rain, someone still should be able to pack that up for you, put it into your door and think nothing of it. Where is that going? We need to bring that back. And then it's also like, once you do that, once you start changing the mindset, you'll realize that you don't need big construction companies to come down and start doing works on the trees and all that, because once you re-engineer the youth, the thinking of the youth, they want to do things to put back into their community. They would start cutting the grass. They would start trimming some trees. They would start getting out there and then just making it a great place to be again. Because Somerset, I mean, amazing, amazing.
Why should one put their tick next to you in this upcoming by-election?
I believe there's a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason would be, I know I'm a thick guy, but if they want transparency, I'm very transparent, all right? Don't take my size and think that, yeah, man, no, I'm very transparent, I'm see-through. You need someone, they should vote for me because you can talk to me. A lot of politicians, and not bashing anybody, but I've been there, and I'm not, say, a political speaker or something of that nature. I just keep it real. And that's how I've gotten across. That's what I do in all of my areas of work. With Pay a Kid, with the Royal Bermuda Regiment, when I out with these organizations, I'm just real. All right? I'm not going to come out there and spill sweet nothingness to you. If there's a problem, let's solve it. We have to be mission focused, mission driven, and on top of things. So I'm from there. I'm from there. I know that's also a benefit to it, but growing up in Somerset and then seeing the state that it's in right now, if they want true change, I'm an advocate for change in the positive way.
What distinguishes you from the PLP or the OBA? Why should someone, you know, vote for you as an independent?
I would say the true umbrella that distinguishes me as an independent from the OBA and the PLP is I don't have that umbrella. You see me here as an independent. I am running as an independent, but as you guys see, I'm not here alone. I have a team, I have a support system, and I have people who I lean on for guidance. And that's the main part. A lot of these individuals think that they know it all. I do not know it all right? But I'm willing to learn. And that's always what I want to do is find out, find the answers. I'm not going to sit here and say, I have the problems to healthcare. I mean, I have the solution to healthcare. I have the solution to this. I have this. You know, you can close your eyes and hear those great words and open them and realize it was a parrot speaking them. The parrot isn't going to solve those solutions for you, but it just speaks great words. I'm not trying to do that. So with that umbrella scenario that I mentioned, I don't fall underneath of, I don't have to back down to certain individuals because I'm afraid of being blackballed. I'm afraid of being benched on the shelf or things like that. I'm here to punch out and swing.
Yeah. Sandy's North has always been a PLP stronghold.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel that the, I'm sorry, yeah, how do you feel that the constituents there would actually go for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you pay attention, if you put a thermometer out in Sandy's, you're going to realize that temperature's rising. It's not the old Sandy's where everybody is, I think we've reached a stage where people are waking up. The bed was comfortable, but now the AC is shut off. And now they're waking up trying to get comfortable. And this is the perfect time to do it. So it's just not blindly following, I'm going green, I'm going red. None of that. People are really scared nowadays and they want real information. They want real substance. And they're like, I'm tired of just waking up and voting because my grandfather did, because it's different times now. It's different times, it's a different era. And there's nothing I'm not talking down on those who have fought hard because they have fought extremely hard to make our country what it is today. And I'm not neglecting that. But I'm just saying a horse and buggy still works, but now we have Ford motors. We have cars. So it's nothing against the horse and buggy. It's still going to get you from Somerset to St. George's, but we just got a better, efficient way of doing it. And I think that we need to update and move it for our times.
I have one last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're a product of West End Primary School.
West End Primary School.
Your thoughts on the flip-flop?
Mm-hmm.
2 years, 2.5, close to 3 years, flip-flop, back to the decision.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that whole debacle?
See, for me, it's personal because I went there. I went there. My younger brother, Christopher Bean, he went there as well. I'll put it this way. I'm not the subject matter expert when it comes to that in particular. I have my personal feelings, and I think that individuals who have the right ideas need to come together and stop making it a competition or one person against the other who has the better decision. Because at the end of the day, the competition and the problem is what they should be focusing on, coming together and then making a better solution. That is pumped through pure members who's been in politics now, in OBA seats, in PLP seats. It's seen everybody come through. And I think that we just need to come together and sort that situation out.
The OBA, I'm sorry, okay, so the OBA stated recently that Sandy's North is in need of revitalization. Do you agree?
I agree. In the sense of, like I said, it starts from, let's take away the physical. Let's take away, you know, say, whether it be the roads, whether it be buildings that are run down and fields not being upkept. Let's take all that away and deal with the people. That's why I say deal with the constituents themselves. Get them, because if you're walking around and you have no hope, are you going to clean your house? Are you going to go out for walks? You have nothing. So you just sat down there and you have no urgency to get out there and start making your community a better place. So that's why I go back to the re-engineering of the young individuals who can bridge the gap between young and old. And once we tackle that, then we can go forward and deal with bringing back Somerset to the Somerset I remember.
If elected, what would you do about the 9 beaches site?
So when I am elected, I was actually just at Nine Beaches the other day with my mother. You know, she was sitting in the water, taking a nice little swim in and all that good stuff. And I was sitting around, looking around, saying, there's so much that can be done. So much that can be done. This beautiful beach, beautiful space, beautiful buildings and all of that. But me, like I said, I'm be honest, I will look into that, but I will seek the advice of those before me to see what do they remember it is, how certain situations around the island or certain areas around the island where that's happened and then has been rejuvenated. I need to take that information and unload that and then try and apply it to there. Because like I said, I'm not coming out here as the one with all the answers. But what I will do is put my time, energy, and effort into sorting that out and having the transparency to do so.
I just had one last one.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been canvassing in the constituency, and are you feeling a real appetite on the doorstep for an independent candidate?
So it's funny that you use the word, canvassing, because, and I don't want to get confused as another politician, all right? And I have my own thoughts about that. Because then you end up seeing some individuals just when it's voting time. I've been canvassing my whole life. I've been canvassing out there, out in the community my whole life. And so I do feel that once people see this press conference or once they see the press release, they'll be like, oh, yes, I remember him. So it's a thing of familiarity that I have amongst the community. I'm either known as Syrie, Lieutenant Bean, Beanie, or Beanie's boy. So, all those names around the community, it's going to be very easy. I'm not an unfamiliar face trying to sell them an unfamiliar dream. They've seen me from packing groceries at age 10 years old, taking it to the car without tips, going out, just helping out with senior citizens. And my mother was a caregiver. And we got volunteered to be out there and help these senior citizens. So I've been canvassing my whole life. And it's just to continue on up until August 4th and thereafter that. October 4th, my apologies.
One final question.
Mm-hmm.
How would your experience in the regiment really help with you being an MP?
Drastically. A lot of people have not even a lot. Because all those people that were individuals that were conscripted at one point, they all talk about, yeah, man, I was conscripted and things like that. And then they sit up and have a good old conversation about the good times in the regiment and things like that. The regiment has put me out there to be I've learned a lot about myself. It's given me extreme character development and knowing my limits and what limits that I used to have on myself are no longer there. I've been over to Bracken Battle School. That's supposed to be the hardest training course for British officers. And you're supposed to leave there and then be, ready to be directly in the field. That pushed me to my limits. I've had times of breaking down in tears. But then I always got that voice in the back of my head of my parents saying, keep pushing through, keep pushing through, keep going for it. And then when you're out there representing, because like I said, I've been on deployments. I've been deployed with the Royal Navy. I was at sea for 3 months, going with counter narcotics, humanitarian aid, natural disaster relief, implementing those around the Cayman, around the Caribbean islands and things like that to help with the structures for when hurricanes hit. So it's given me confidence in myself to do, and also the ability to tell myself that you can do. And can't is not a part of the vocabulary when it comes to getting things done. I'm mission focused, goal driven, and orientated in that way of achieving the goal, the end result. So the regiment, in short, big ups to the regiment.
Did you join as a junior leader?
No, I did not join as a junior leader. I joined when I was 18 years old. Well, my name was in the paper. So then I saw that. I was like one of the last names in the paper. I saw that, said, okay, this is my time. And I already knew what was going to happen. My father was in the regiment. He left as a sergeant major. And then my older brother, Samuel Bean, he was in the regiment. He was my platoon commander when I came in. So when he roughed me up, I had to suck it up. And I said, all right, I'm got you. And then I joined the ranks. And then my youngest brother as well, Christopher Bean, he'll be going up there in due time. But it's also like it acts as a rite of passage because and this is not me to ramble on about the military and the regiment, but I've seen such great work of what it does to our young individuals, male and female, the confidence, the ability to do, the camaraderie. A lot of people are looking for family. In the regiment, you find family. You have family there. I have people who call my phone at 2 o'clock in the morning asking for advice, asking for a ride. If I see somebody down in the bus lane, I'm taking them. The regiment soldier is recognizable. You get into any situation. I got into an accident not too many moons ago, and I was embarrassed, but everyone stopped and were like, sir, are you all right, sir? And you realize how many people come across. And yes, we may have a few hundred in the regiment, but we've had thousands come through. So then you become a part of a much bigger family, and it's a place of belonging for young individuals, young and old. So yeah, that's my stamp on that.
One last question.
Oh, don't worry, I love this AC. It's all right. It's all right.
Do you encourage other people like yourself or others who feel that they have something to offer to actually come forward as independents as well?
I say come forward as, I do encourage it. I encourage it. They have spoken to me because a lot of them just need that push. A lot of them need to see that it can be done. And, you know, it's always hard to be the first person on the moon or the first person to swim across the Atlantic. They need to see someone do it. And that is my goal, to prove to them that it is possible. Put your socks on, iron your shirt, get up there and make it happen. You can do it. So I hope that after this, they are inspired to continue on and reach higher heights.
Do you think that you will attract more OBA or PLP voters?
It depends on which side wants to more change for the better.
Okay, all right, brilliant.
Thank you. Is that?
I guess so, John, will you be taking any questions today? Or?
If you wish. It's up to
I
you.
think we wish that.
Jonathan wishes that.
Yeah.
I only had a couple.
Sorry?
You said that-
Oh.
Yeah, your mentor.
Need the mic? Okay.
I mean, so John, I wanted to ask, and I'm sure everyone wants to ask, if a general election were to be called imminently, how many folks are in the running as independents?
We have quite a few people ready to run. And those people are on standby. We will do course, but we're releasing them over the period of time. But the main focus right now is on Sari and this by-election in Sanders 36. So let's get that out of the way, and let's move forward with after that, you will see we have some very, Sari is top of the pile. But there are a lot of top of the piles. We've got some very interesting people who got some experience, and some with no experience, young and old. And I think that we are heading in the right direction for the change that Bermuda needs. I mean, just to think this morning what you heard from Sari, if you can hear that from other candidates, which we haven't heard, that makes new Bermuda. And people have to decide, do you want change? If you want change, then you've got to step outside of your comfort level or your box and make that change possible. And I want to thank Sari particularly because he epitomizes what we're trying to do with independent members. Now, all of them won't be Asari, it won't be me, but we want to run enough people that we can pick and choose to have the leadership sufficiently to be able to represent really what Bermuda should be.
Are you the leader in this, sir, or a facilitator?
I'm a facilitator. There is a coalition, and a coalition, a group of people who have come together to achieve an objective. There is no party apparatus working. Sari has been around me now since he was 17.
Yeah.
I've tried to set an example in this country for young people and for old people. Most of you who I look at all of you, I knew you when you were young. So to help to facilitate the process, as you know, I stood down in Devonshire North and was able to pick up quite a representative vote. I think that has inspired other people to say, if you did it in 1 month, look what we can do in whatever time it takes. So we're, I think, on our way, And I think New Bermuda should emerge now. I had this experience back in 1981, 82 when I became premier, and New Bermuda emerged. I'm not in this to become premier again. I'm in this here to help to facilitate the change Bermuda needs. I don't come with any presumption that I'm the guy that's going to be ahead of this here. It might be Sari, it might be somebody else that comes along, but people who bring Bermuda back into relevance in the 21st century that it needs to be, and people who have the integrity, the commitment, and the ethics, and the intolerance of anything that is not in the best interest of the people of Bermuda. So I'm not the leader. All I mean is when people come to me and they say they want to run it, I'd say, talk to other people who are running because they are the people that represent the process. You might want to ask the question, I'll make it very clear. I intend to run only because I can ask other people to do things that I wouldn't do myself.
Did you just say, sorry, that you intend to run again as an independent
I
candidate?
intend to run again as an independent candidate.
When the general election is called.
When the general election is called,
When, like, I'm sorry, let me start again. Governments in Cayman Islands and the governments in Isle of Man, are they an inspiration for you?
well, obviously,
Like pushing
they are both
independence?
successful destinations, successful
Yeah,
Westminster systems.
well, they're.
That are working.
The Westminster.
We will evolve a system and we will bring how we propose to do it, a bottom-up system as opposed to a top-down with no party apparatus at all. It is following the rules of the Constitution and ensuring that a proper procedural process is in place. But it's the whole object of the exercise is to have more people in the community involved with the decision-making process and not isolated to a upside process itself. It emerges from the bottom up through the constituencies to committees that involves everybody, local civil servants, international people. So we're all part of a process of what Bermuda, New Bermuda should look like. After all, when I came to office in 1982, it was old Bermuda. International business was hardly here, it was a bit of it. Now they control, in terms of operation, over 90%, 95% of our businesses. We've got to look at it and say, what does that represent and how do we achieve what we want for our people? And how do they help us to achieve what we want for our people? And to do that, you can't park them on the side and tell them, oh no, you're just a guest in Bermuda. How can you have people tell people they're a guest? You grant them PRCs and British nationalities. They can get citizenship only if they marry a Bermudian directly and they still have been married for 10 years. Yet they control everything we do. So we've got to find a way to bring them into the main fold. And that's what I like about Sari. Sari has an open mind. He's been around to these people. He's encouraged by them. They want to do more, but they find it difficult to do more. So you want to do more, we're going to let you do more. And we'll make sure that Bermudians get the benefit of your actions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Young man.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Sir?
Congratulations.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Welcome to the fold.
Thank
you. That have joined us in this announcement of C36 candidate, Sari B.
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah.